Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster, and I thought I'd do a quick video today about harvesting wood, be it either for carving or for firewood. Predominantly today I'm looking for wood for carving, so I just thought I'd take you out for a little wander with me down my local woodland just to see what we could find and to see if there's anything worthwhile. I've been past a few sort of fallen birches today, which is what I'd normally be looking for. They're all quite thin and spindly with a lot of knots in them, so I haven't seen anything that's ideal yet. But what I'll do, I'll carry on walking, I'll see what I can come up with, and I'll show you what it is I'm looking for, hopefully, when I find it. Right guys, well I think I've found what I've been looking for. Hopefully just behind me here you can see a fallen birch. What I'll do, let me move a little bit closer. I'll show you what it is I'm looking at. So this here has fallen, looking by the amount of mushrooms and fungus that are growing on it quite a while ago. And this is sort of the ideal size for me to sort of cut and then split, which is what I'll be doing on the video today. Now this thicker section of trunk here is great for larger things. I don't need any at the moment, so you know I'm not in any rush to cut into that. But this slightly thinner section down here, you can see two little sort of red marks there, which is where I just knocked off a couple of bits of fungi just to see what the wood was like underneath. I'm not sure if you'll hear this on the camera, but this is good and solid, it's not rotten. A lot of people will tell you that you should only cut you know, fresh wood for carving. I don't subscribe to that view. I think as long as the wood is in good condition, it's not rotten. When I cut into this, you'll see that it's still nicely sort of if not fresh as in freshly fallen, fresh as in damp, and it's retaining a lot of moisture, which makes the carving process a lot easier. Obviously it is more of a risk of splitting and checking as well when it dries, but I prefer to carve sort of with slightly damper wood. So let me just set the camera up guys and I'll show you what it is I'm going to do. Right then guys, well first step is to cut off a section of this wood so that I can then process it down to make it a bit more manageable. Now looking at this piece here, it's relatively, from sort of this section here to the fork section up here, it's relatively free of knots, which is really good news. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start down here just to get this piece out the way. If I cut off this piece first, this will just drop down and then make it more difficult for me to cut into. So I'm using my Silky Gom Taro. I didn't bring the larger Zubat out with me today, though looking at the size of this I'm probably going to wish I had. But I'm just going to take off a section, a little bit of a knot here. I only want kind of 2 bits. So I'm going to start off, let's say here, and don't forget, you know, if you do find a tree like this and you're going to be carving sort of fairly regularly, you know, I will probably come back and take wood from this tree 3 or 4 times, depending on how quickly I use it up, maybe more than that. And you know, once I've cut into this, it will start to dry out at the end, it will start to split. That's fine. What you can do is you can cut off sort of a 6-inch section, you're back to fresh wood, and you just carry on moving down until you've either exhausted the tree or it's started to rot and it's no longer usable. Okay, so we're through the first part. As I say, this wood is semi-dry inside, it's certainly not brand new and fresh. I'm actually really pleased the fact there's quite a lot of spalting in this as well, which I'll show you once I've cut through it. But I'm going to take off another section about the yay big, another here, and that's going to do me for my purposes for the next sort of week or so while I'm doing the carving that I had planned. Right, so there we go guys, that's piece number 1, and hopefully as you can see there's some really nice spalting inside this wood, so hopefully when I split this down and start carving with it, I should get a really nice sort of pattern in the grain there. What I'll do, I'm going to cut off the other piece and then I'll move on and I'll show you where we're going from there. Right then guys, so that's pretty much it, barring splitting this down just to make it a bit easier to transport. Now I'm planning on making either some spoons, maybe some small bowls out of this stock. So all I'm going to do is take my froe. I didn't even bother bringing the handle with me today. I could make one, but there's not really any need, not for something this small. And all I'm going to do is put this on a sort of a fairly stable surface and just hammer it down and split this piece into two. And as I've shown you before, guys, it really is just that simple. Two pieces of wood. There's a fair bit of sort of woodworm in here, or has been woodworm in there. Not a problem. I'm going to start drying it when I get home, and I'm going to be using it fairly quickly. So again, this piece, just to show you in the sort of the cross section here, I'm actually splitting it down the sort of the long seam rather than the short one, just because it gives you a bit more material to work with. Gives you a few more options when you're planning whatever it is you're going to make. And again, a couple of good hits with a decent froe, and any sort of wood this kind of size is going to be pretty much straight in half, unless it's really, really sort of tough and grainy. Birch very rarely tends to be. So that's it, guys. I mean, that is literally all I'll do if I'm going out sort of collecting some wood for carving. If I'm using it for the fire, I won't be quite as picky. I'll be looking for dead wood, dry wood, stuff that's been caught up and hanging in trees. But for carving wise, I'll find a decent fallen tree. Don't get me wrong, the fresher and the newer the fall, the better. If this had fallen last night, I would have been over the moon. This has obviously fallen a good couple of weeks ago minimum, but it's still perfectly good wood for carving with. But hope it was useful, guys. Any comments and questions, drop them in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks, guys.